board. All right. So first I'll do a little intro. Welcome to day 3 of the Quantum Challenge. Today is January 16th. It's about 12:15 p.m. Eastern Time. So we are just going to watch and see and maybe learn a little bit. Right now we are stuck in a range, a very tight range. The 5 minute had a curl down. Now it's trying to pull down under 700 to see if we get a 5 minute level formation to give it a stronger pull down. So at the current 1 minute, right? I was just going over this. I'm gonna zoom in just to kind of show you guys, and I did post this in the chat how these quantum ranges present themselves and give you plays, and how one breaks, another breaks, right? And then it gives you a little stepping ladder until you finally get to a purple candle that could not break, right? If you zoom out, you have this guy right above as well. That was the point where we saw a little pullback, retested the previous range, tested it once, bounced, couldn't break that again. Then it finally broke and retested that range, broke and retested the other range, broke that. This range held so far. That range held, bounced all the way back up, and then now we are paused. Another little range here, waiting to see what happens. This is a little more advanced stuff that, again, I don't want everyone to be bombarded with everything that we talk about, right? We're mainly focusing on A++ setups, but the other setups for quantum are there. The range, quantum ranges, right? The failed bearish moves, they're all there. The failed bullish moves are all there. Okay. So right now, this is our little tight range we're in, right? Keeps bouncing off of the 700, challenges around 710, 715, back and forth, back and forth. Okay. Our 5 minute is trying to curl down, it's trying to pull down. This breaks under 700. It's doing it right now. Here we go. Here's that test of 700. Next area would again be 694 to see what it would do down there if this does break 700. Right, there's no A++ setup or anything at the moment. We're about to get a potential cross down on the 5. This breaks under 700, has room to that 93 point where it bounced before. Past that will be down to the mid 70s. But this has to close below 700 for it to really start moving. Let's take a look at the DOM. The DOM is not really reacting a whole lot. Kind of. Okay, now it's speeding up. Now the DOM is speeding up. On that pull up, it is speeding up around 708, 710, which would be about that top side of this range area, 710, 715. It starts to slightly speed up at 703. Okay, here we go. The DOM is starting to go crazy now. It's really starting to go crazy down here. And ooh, violet pull up. The DOM is telling that immediate speed up at that 700. So this area right here is a major area. Popped right back into the range. Right back into the range. Right back to 710. This is the back and forth. Below 700. Yep, we want to see the 5 minute close below 700. We want to see this break that little green here, and we want to see this pull this down, and that will be below 700. Until then, I'm not liking a full-blown short yet. This is holding on to dear life to 700 at the moment. And then you have between 704, you have room to 693. And then once it breaks this range where it previously held up, then you would have from 693, you would have almost 20 points down to that 707, what is it, 696.75. Blah. Can't talk. And then below that, below this, right, below that previous break, then you have the blue candle down here at 661. So those are like your little pauses where you might see if this does continue to go down, this will be your pauses. Comes down, and then comes down, and then comes down to that next area, which will be right here. So we're kind of blending in, kind of like quantum session with the challenge. All right, here we go. Let's see if this can actually start holding. All right, there's the break in. The 1 minute is trying to cross down now. Again, if the 1 minute crosses down, it needs to stay under 700. You'll see if you look at the lines, it needs to go under 700. It hit 699.25, popped right back up, back into the range. So this is where I'd be scalping the break over 700 for 10 points at a time. All right, little sauce for the range plays, how I do when I play the ranges. Every time I see it hold, pop back in, quick scalp it. But it is not easy to do, right? Look at the 5 minute. This candle closed at 701, did not close under 700, underneath 700. Psychological level, all sorts of things. This candle held right above 700 and then immediately popped right back up. Big blue on the 1. So here I would adjust this guy right there. Let's get rid of this one for now. I'm going to get rid of this line. I mean, it's tight. Honestly, that line should still be there because this blue candle is here, right? I do not draw these normally. Just so I let you guys know, I do not draw these normally. But when I'm surrounded like this is telling me be cautious. If I'm going to take scalps, it's going to be very fast, very small. But I'm going to be patient. Like, I want to see what this 5 minute does. If this 5 minute does not hold under 700 and then we get that break above, we still have room to come back up. And then that flip of trend that occurred earlier, right? We went from red to green. Then it's kind of confirming that for you. What's up, David? How about that gold number? Oh, I missed this, Sema. I just saw it. I actually just went to go peek at it. And I was like, holy crap. Like, look at this. Like, A++ on the 5. Gave you a nice little level on the 2 it tested. And then on the 1, it was an A++ as well. Like, holy crap. And I missed this. Like, look at this. Like, the beta levels, they respected it once. There's your cross down. There's your signal. There's your pull down. That was violent. I have orb in place here as well. I missed that play. And right now it rejected orb. You had that level above. Gold is setting up for potential pull down. So silver. Silver has a 5 minute. But silver is getting tight as well because silver would have room to 87.63. NQ is pushing back up. Let's take a look at NQ again. Yep, NQ holding on, right, to that range. 700 held on, breaks over 715 and holds. There's a potential play set up for a push back up. SPX is below orb, so I'm also eyeballing that. All right, getting a nice little confluence lesson here as well for you guys. And this is where we sit on our hands. 700, 710, 715. Rejects this, can't come back down. There's definitely more room up than down for me, but that 5 minute, I want to be cautious on that 5 minute. I want to be very cautious with what this 5 minute is trying to do. So the action lines are all over the place. They look kind of funky to me. I will wait. Yep, you got it, Kathy. It's ranging between the 2 and 5 minute. Yep. And this is where I use the trend, right? This is where I would use a higher time frame trend. We are in the green, so there's a chance that this wants to go up more than down at the moment if that green holds. Very simple for me. It's ranging between the 2. When you go in for quick scalps, what do you risk? Oh, I risk 5 points. I risk only 5 points. If it breaks back up, I'm expecting it to break up violently. So when I'm going for those moves, I don't want it to pull back at all. Because it should just, when it re-enters a range and tests the range, it should pull up violently. If it's a weak range and it's gonna, pull back and it doesn't pull up enough, then that's kind of telling that it wants to go the opposite direction. I don't know what scalping micros for 5 points on FFF is worth. Commissions are high. Yeah, scalping on, yeah. Be cautious scalping 5 points at a time on FFF. Because FFF does have a little bit of higher fees, but that's not, they're not the only ones that have those kind of fees. Obviously they all vary. I forgot there was another prop. Look at that. See, came up to 715, all the way back down to 700. What did it come down to? 703. Another 10 points, right? It would be 10 points up, 10 points down. And your stop loss on this 715 would be 5 points, right? I'm going for, usually I try to go for 1-for-1, right? I don't always think about RR, but when I started thinking about it deep down, I was like, man, what does my RR really look like? And it's always 1-for-1. Like, my RR is always 1-for-1. Like, I at least look for 1-for-1, right? Everyone knows my 5 points. My 5 points is mainly risk reduction. Like I always try to make that clear. The 5 points for me is what makes trading stress free, but the main TP is always 10 points. All right. And now it's breaking down, back down to this area again. Under 700. This has to hold down here, right? Cross is crossing in front. You see that signal form, but the move is already happening. The rejection off of the top broke under 7. This is where the runner, right? This is where the runner would run a little bit. And then that pop back over 700. Look, here's where it's telling, right? Here's where the bounce, right? Popped over 700. Now the pop back in looks slightly weak. It's not pulling up as violently as it did before. So this is the part where I say pay attention to these little things. Now the 1 minute is trying to cross down. The 5 minutes trying to cross down. Underneath 700 is what I'm looking for. SPX also gave us a little bit of a bearish signal as well, but needs to hold underneath 700 here. Got 5 minute, has 3 minutes left. Let's see if we get any kind of a setup to enter on. So see, right back over 700, still holding it, but it is not, it did not, so far it only gave you like 5 points. So not a whole lot. Now it gave you a little bit more, but it's a lot more hesitant than it was before. SPX, there you go. Right, SPX still pointing down. SPX is setting up for a 3Z down. NQ showing strength. NQ is showing relative strength. All right, there it goes. It could not pull below 700. Now there would be your almost 10 points right there. Break over 700, right? There you go. There's the 10 points, right? You risk the 5 points. There's your 10 points again, right? You could have scalped 30 points already in literally like 6 minutes, risking 5 points at a time. That's the way I play the chop when I do play it, right? But I play it cautiously. I'm always very, very cautious with the chop. I want there to be room. This has about 15 points of room between the two areas. I can almost get that continuation 10 points. Risky 5 points each time. Once I take the L, I'll be out. You got it for 1 micro for 18 bucks. There you go, Alaskan, right? And this is how I eat on the chop. Like when you guys see everyone, you know, oh, I hate the chop, I hate that chop. Once I can identify these zones, you know, that's how I play on it. And it's all quantum. Like this part is quantum. My bigger plays come from my added confluences. Saucebox is a big one. We caught, I think a few of my students caught 100 point. I know Alaskan caught 100-point trade off of that Saucebox reversal. I caught like 70 points off of that on one of my accounts. You haven't closed it yet? Damn, Alaskan. So you're still up big on that thing. Like, don't let it turn around too much. Oh, you did? You closed it? There you go. That's a huge play. And I've caught my biggest trades off of the Saucebox. Like I say, like Saucebox so many freaking times, but my biggest trades I've caught, like my first 100-point trade was like 8 months ago, 7 months ago, I think, when I first kind of started playing with the Saucebox, and I was so excited. Since then, I've caught multiple, right? But again, I don't catch them with a big sizing. I catch them with 1, sometimes 2 micros. But they add up. Like 1 micro 100-point move is like $150+. Yeah, see, seeking profit. You too. You make exactly, and sometimes you just have to wait for them. There was a nice dump from it this morning. There was a nice push to 2 through 2. Then it bounced off of 1 hard. All right, here we go. Back down, right? Again, right? All the way up to 715-ish. Then it came all the way back down to 700. There's another 10 points. So Juan Saucebox is something I teach in my one-on-ones. That's something I teach my students. 200 on 3 micros. There you go. See, it adds up fast. The instant a new blue candle or pink candle forms, do you create the new range? Yes. So obviously we have this guy that's still technically held, right? But you could move this down to that 714 area. Okay, here's our 5-minute level locked in. Okay, that was a reaction right now. You saw that 5-minute level lock in, and then you saw the push down. Now you want to see it stay underneath that 702. You don't want to see it. If this 5-minute level is going to be strong, you don't want to see it get tested immediately. So we want to see it stay below. If it gets tested here, if it gets pushed and pushes up above, like it's doing right now, this is your confirmation that the uptrend is going to potentially be holding here. You want to see it stay below the 702. So let's see what it does here. That level locked in, you saw a push, immediately got contested. Okay, there we go. There we go. There it goes. There it goes. All right, there's a quick 10 points off of that. There it went. That's, and again, right? Any kind of contention play on a level, right? Have a certain amount of points that you like to stay. There's 15 points. Oh, who's in this baby? Oh, she's tanking. Any contention level, you want to see it stay below. If it pulled up to, oh, there we go, baby. There's that 5-minute lockdown. There was the retest and the rejection. The risk on these, I like to keep it within 10 points or less. That's a 20-point instant drop right there. Like instant drop. That's what we're talking about right there. Very simple. That level locked in, saw the reaction. You want to see it stay below, pulled back below, and then dropped. Pesh, you caught some of that beauty? Let's go. Right? 5-minute levels, right? You see your stack level right here, right? Here it is. Here's your stack minute level. Let me delete these lines right here, right? Why I love the freaking stack minute levels. That was an instant, right? You guys see my own videos, right? You see my old content when I'm like up $200, $300 in the blink of an eye with just like 4 or 5 micros. That's these plays right here. These plays right here. Low risk, right? About you could have picked 5 or 10 points, whatever you want, as long as it stayed below 702. This pulled up to 703.50 and immediately pulled down. You saw the immediate rejection, immediate violent move down. There's your 1-minute level. Here's your 5-minute level. There's your push. All right. I keep my risk the same. I don't fluctuate. I don't like to go from 10-point risk to 20-point risk to 30-point risk. I like to keep it within 15. And guess what? There are days where it's volatile and your risk might be a little higher. What do? I just play with 1 or 2 micros. If my risk is 30 points, I'm just going to play with 1 and leave room to add 1 more. And then my risk will be dropped to about 15 with the DCA. Awesome. Clean stack level. This is, I can't wait. We have so many big updates coming for Quantum. You guys don't understand. We are working on logic for stack level triggers. Like we're working on this logic for these levels because these levels are my bread and butter. The stack levels are literally like the best setups you can get, right? Patiently waited. We waited. 5-minute form finally. Once that held, and then you saw the hold below 702, right? We wanted to see that break of 700. That's all I was looking for. I wanted that level to lock in, waited for the reaction. Then you could just see, wait for 702. If it holds, we go down. If it breaks above, we're going to go the opposite way. Instant 20 points. That update's going to be killer. I know, Trina. I'm so freaking excited for it. Like, once it comes out. Well, we want to make sure it works very well, right? Again, look, we're fighting a bunch of green, right? Look where it bounced, right? Remember where I drew the previous range break, right? Here's that previous failed bearish move right down here at 674. Where did it get down to? 676. Where did it just bounce? All right. So you see the power of the candles. You see the accuracy of them time and time again. Now we're back to 702, right? But we're getting a cross up push. Now the 5-minute, that's a big bullish looking 5. Now we have the potential of seeing the opposite here, where we're going to see a level flip. All right, let's see. I'm going to get ready to potentially play along here. If this thing closes over 702, this triggered. This is not a clean A++ setup. This is going to be slightly riskier because your stop will just be a break back below 696, this candle right here, but it has to close above. If it does not, then this level still will hold. You want to see the 5-minute, right? This 5-minute is about to close. If it closes below, this level is going to be on hold. Let's see what happens here. This has about 15 seconds. I want to see if this closes above or if it's going to close below. And then you're going to have the potential new area will be between 693 and 702. So here's 702 break. It's a few more seconds. And let's see, right? Broke over 702. And there we go. A little bit of a push. And your stop losses here on something like this, right? I do not like to honestly play back and forth. Stop loss will be this candle below 688 or the 93 level. 10 points or an option of giving another 5-point stop loss. The other thing I like to do on these potential breaks is to see if it holds above the 5-minute. It needs to just hold above 702. If it breaks down below, right, then the 702 becomes a center point for a range. So the 702 could become a center point if this goes back and forth. You just want to see it hold above, then you want to see a continuation push back up to that 715, 714 area. So right now it's really fighting it. The DOM is not going crazy or anything yet. Let's see if this pushes up a little bit or if it just kind of stalls out here. If it stalls out here, right, there was a move already. This could just be forming a new range. All right, it's really trying to hold on to 702 right now, but there's no reaction to my DOM. Okay, now it's speeding up. Now it's just starting to speed up. What time is it? 36. All right, so one of two things. It's either going to snap down below it and retest this level, or we're about to get a potential push up here. 702 has to hold here. Now it's getting really speed. There it goes. It's getting really speedy up here. There will be your 5 points. There will be your 5 points at 08 or 07. And then you will look for 13 next, or 12, depending on where you got in on that push up. All right, there it goes. There it goes. There it goes. There's your 10 points right there. There you go. Boom. You got, if you played the chop, you just caught like a shit ton of points right there in a matter of 10, 15 minutes. When did we start this thing? All right, we started this thing like 15 minutes ago. Already, if you guys were, seasoned, obviously I don't play the chop when I'm doing these things because the chop does require a little bit of focus. You want to be able to keep an eye on the price action and the DOM. But there it is, right? There's your another 10 points. Got a 20-point drop. Now you got a 10-point up, 30 points in less than 10 minutes. Call it a day. And that's all we needed. You scaled that 702 as well. There you go. Look at Sam. 695 reentry. There. Right. You have your points of areas, right? Your stop losses are clear. Everything's clear. Look where it came back up to. 713. Right? What's there? That candle right there. That's where it came out to. That's where it's rejecting right now. Right? Now you have the potential for the flip of the level, right? We caught that drop. Now you have the potential flip. The 702 is flipping, right? But this needs to break over what to keep going. This is 713. And then that 714 that it was rejecting for before. This is how I play the chop, guys. So each time we do these, I really hope you guys really start picking up on it, right? Because when you first see it and you first look at it, yes, it seems complicated. And I don't blame you guys that because you guys have a lot of different things in your head. This kind of defies a lot of what basic trading logic is, right? You have certain things in your head where, no, this shouldn't do this shouldn't do that. And then you see it happening and you're like, holy crap, right? I get that a lot. I get that a lot when people tell me, no, I don't think it's going to do that. According to this, right? According to that, we should see this. And I'm like, okay, let's see. And then boom, boom, boom. And then they're just like, what the hell? It's just one of these things. You catch on the patterns, you catch on to the reactions, and you feed off of them. It's so repetitive. I'm telling you, right? I do this all the time because it is super repetitive. Llamas 236 level right under the action lines and Saucebox Doji right on it. CDG, exactly. You lined up other confluences gives it more strength. That's what the power of confluences is. The more confluences you have, the more confidence, right? But you have clear stops, you have that guidance. Are you trading on the computer or on the phone? On the computer. So I'm like looking back and forth, but I'm looking at my DOM and everything, right? Now it's came back down to test 693. All right, again, if it pops back over 693, this is going to be a potential advanced replay where your stop would be underneath 688. So potential 5-point risk here. Let's take a look though, right? If this 5-minute candle does close under 702, this is riskier because that 702 is a center point, but here's a potential advanced read. 693 pops back over 702, we're going to get the same potential. But now we have this bearish candle that it's also going to fight. So the push up might not be that good for potential play when I'm fighting against a bearish candle. Right now, we have a little bit of a tighter range as well. So when the ranges get tight, this is where I'm going to be really cautious playing scalps or something like the advanced read because I have to fight this purple candle up here. If it doesn't give me that 10-point push, I'm going to potentially get screwed. Now this is super tight. Now you see how tight these lines are. You got to break through here. You got to break through here. I don't like this. I'm going to be like, I caught my 2 plays. I'm done. I'm sitting on my hands. I'm not giving any of that shit back. I'm happy with what I just got. That's what we got to get to. You got to get to that point where you can sit on your hands after a nice win. Don't try to catch back to back to back to back to back to back to back. You have to be able to sit on your hands. See, look, bounce happened. It was pretty weak, but why? Because we're contesting a bearish candle. I don't want to do that. Now you have a range setup instead, right? But if it breaks down here, 88, you still have 74. That's a little bit of room. That's about 14-ish points of room. Below 74, you got down here to 60. Another 15-ish points for a potential push if this does give us a failed bullish move. That's it. You're able to stop. That's what you got to work on, right? When you start seeing it really get tight like this, then I'm gonna be like, no, okay. I hope you guys understood that. So that sequence of events, right? A potential 30, 40 points, even more. Like if you played that initial chop between 7 and 7.15, you could have caught more. 5 points risk each time. And once you got stopped out, then okay, that's my call to wait. That's my call to wait. Now it's waiting on something. It adds up really fast. And a lot of people always wonder, right? I trade all my accounts separately and I can catch 30 to 40 points per account. Literally caught 30, 40 points right there in 15 minutes. There you go, Sam. Call it a day. Yeah. And Fridays, yeah. Fridays historically are my worst days. So I play Fridays very cautiously. Very, very cautiously. That was an epic wick. All right. Now we're just floating, right? It's holding on to 93, but it's just floating. It doesn't have anywhere to go. It's too tight of a spot now. It's slap dab in the middle of these two areas. You got a bearish candle, you got that bullish candle. You're stuck in between the two. There's nothing here. I'm good with what I caught. All right. Now we could just watch. You guys can ask questions and we can learn. But this is like, that's how these sequences happen so fast. And then you got to be able to stop. Don't give it back. Move on to another account. Take a break. Go drink some water. Go take a piss. Whatever you got to do. But this is how fast these plays happen. When you can start reading it, it becomes so easy. It feels like you're hacking the system. It feels like you're in the Matrix and you're like nickel and diming. More than that, actually. You're like just back and forth. You can see everything happening before it happens. You can see the range form before it happens. It's freaking cool. Super urgent question. Can you wear the Grinch suit on our 101? Lou, the Grinch suit, I don't even know where it is. I don't know if my wife threw it away or if my kids destroyed it. Dude, I did love the Grinch suit, though. I love, what the hell? Look at that. Like, I look like, dude, that's straight up. I look like my brother right there. That's what my brother, well, he has a little goatee. My brother, who's in a Marine, he has a long hair, too. Yeah, straight up made me look like my brother right there. Look at that. There's the bounce off 793. There's the 10 points. Again, I wouldn't play it. But there it is. It's contesting the purple. Right? And this is the chop plays. I know there's a few of you degens in here, right? Your stop loss would have been the blue candle. You would have gotten it if you did. But I caught my points. I'm happy with it. Now I'm going to wait for it to open up because this is just testing the previous range that it broke, formed a new one. Now you want to see what direction, if it wants to still continue with the green, you want to see it continue to break through that 713, 715. If it's going to go down, you want to see it start breaking underneath that 688, then below 674, and so forth and so on. In the meantime, it is just stuck in here. Damn, Seeking, you're already only 1,000 from passing the challenge, bro. Way to go, man. If I go 3 micros, 15 points, 110, and I break even, or how would I manage the last one? The last one, I like to trail for break even, but if you have a level in place, then you trail it when it gets close to that level, right? In chop, I tend to trail it a little closer just because I needed to break this to get to the next part, and guess what happens, right? Just like here, right? That drop, right? When it came down and it came down to this area here for that blue candle or that previous range break that we had, I started trailing it closer because I knew that this was a potential area for it to go. I'm not going to give back a whole 11 points. I don't want to. Like, you could, but I like to take as much as I can. So I'm not going to let like a 20-point play turn into a 10-point play. It's still going to be about 15 points. If I have that runner, right? That happens so fast, right? If you didn't even set the first 5 points TP, especially with the 5-minute level, I don't even go for 5-point TP on the 5-minute level. I go straight for 10. If I'm in with 4, 5, that's already $100. And then the last little bit's the 100 extra, the extra 20, $30, whatever you want to call it, right? If you're in with 2 or 1, that's your extra little bread on top of it. So extra little icing on top of the cake, little cherry on top, and then you got to be able to move on from that, right? Could the move keep going? Yeah. Do I care if it does? No, because I collect as it comes. If you have other confluences in line, right, for a bigger drop, absolutely you can hold if that's something that lines up with what you're seeing. All right. Here's another. This is an A++ setup right here, actually. Stop will be above 701. There it goes. I didn't even get to enter it. That's it. That was an A++ setup. Cross inside the body. There's the 8. There it goes. I couldn't catch that because I was talking while it was happening. A++ setup. This was A++. Cross inside the body. Everything, right? Did not retest at all. Just straight up broke it, and look where it's bouncing. There's another quick 10 points, and that was actually more than that. If you got in at candle close at 89, there's 15 points right there. So 25 minutes right now, you're up 50 points probably. Like, that's how fast it adds up, right? That's a day. That's some people wait an hour for 50 points. The potential to have caught it there in less than 20 minutes just in this amount of time that I came up. That was A++. That was as clean of an A++ setup as you can get. Cross happened within the body, in the center. Candle closure is your entry. Stop loss is above, 11 point risk, 15 points, a little over 15 points. Blink of an eye. Just like that. Caught another couple. There you go, Alaskan. And look where it bounced. All right, now you want to see if it'll retest and hold for potential. But again, right, this is in a funky range. So this could just be messing around. But again, it is setting up for more pull down here. To me, potentially. But it needs to keep holding these areas. Pops back in and breaks that 94. Chance it'll retest a little bit further up. But here's a potential advance read. Testing 92, 94. All right, this is looking like it wants to curl up, so I don't like that. But if this closes under 94, there's a potential. But right now, this is crossing up. It's going to form a level. So not a good advance read candidate here, holding this area of previous range. Now back to the range. Contesting that candle, 700. But if it rips back under 94, potential chance. I mean, this is a super duper low risk here, but I don't like the way this is potentially crossing up and just confirming another potential range area. But this is closing below. All right, that's a hell of a failed bullish candle there. It's a hell of a failed bullish candle. Let's see. Let's see if this gets a pull down here. There's good movement right now. There is pretty good movement, but this candle needs to close below. The risk on this is about, well, if anyone caught it up here, your risk was 2 points. You'd already be up 10 points right now if you caught it up here with a super tight loss. But like, it's very, very, very tight, right? There's 5 points. If it gets to 80, 75, that'll be the 10 for me. Oh, the Dom's going crazy down here. So when the Dom goes crazy in an area, I'm very cautious. It's going crazy around this 84, 83, right? It's going, yep, there it goes. All right, if it snaps through this, we get a good pull down here. Let's see if this snaps through this 83. There it goes. Boom, there's your 10. And trailing. Advance read. There you go. We got to see everything. We literally got to see everything in action right now. This is a fun session, y'all. This is a fun session, y'all. We got to see everything in action right now. A++, 5 minute stack, range, all of it, dude. This is fun session. We're up like 60 fucking points right now. Damn. I love this. You know what? What time is it? 12? Man, I might have to start trading around. I normally don't trade around this time. I might have to start looking at this time. This is kind of fun right now. Every single play has been less than 10 points risk. Every single play. Like every single one. Right? We caught like 5, 6 trades already. 5, 6 trade setups. The range, you guys got to learn about the range plays. Now the A++ presented, the stack level presented. Everything is just flowing beautifully right now. Yeah, exactly. Who needs power at this point? There it goes. There it goes. 15 points, baby. It's still going. My runner's running. My runner's running. For Friday, this is kind of unusual, honestly. But again, I don't really trade around this time. Like my runner's running. Like I'm already right. Like I'm already up $400. Like I literally just loaded this account up. I'm up $400 already. Like I like this is I accidentally traded the challenge account yesterday, but so I just loaded up a new one, and this is a 20. I loaded up a 25K account for this one. Like, whoo, it's a fun day, y'all, and there it's still pushing down. And now again, right? Oh, that pull up. It's gonna trail me out here. Yep. Wow, that hit my trail right at 825. Wow. That pull up and then pull down, and my trail got closer, and it just took out my trail. But that's fine. Yep, there you go. That was actually a perfect pull out, right? Again, this 675 area, right? This is where it's holding. But if it breaks this, it's got room to keep going down. But I don't care. What DOM do I use? I use the Super DOM on Tradovate. So I use the Super DOM on TV. Ooh, it's still going. Look, it wicked my ass out just to keep going, but I don't care, right? This is the point. This is the DOM I use. That's the point of this whole thing. Be happy with what you get because it adds up very freaking fast. Very freaking fast. You want to come up and say something? All right, you know what? We had a really short session, but let's see what you want to say. You go. You want to come up and say something? You could do a little bit of interviewing if you want, I guess. But that was literally like 25 minutes. I don't know what time I popped on, guys. I don't know what time I popped in, guys. You only have 3:30. That's it, Millie? That's it? Be happy. That's amazing. That's literally what your mistake. No, that's okay. Here you go. That's again. I made about 300 to 350 a day as a general manager, working fucking 9 to 10 hours a day. We just made $400 in 30 minutes. Like, where else can you do that? Like, every trade was low risk. And again, right, this price action to most is shitty. And we're capitalizing in it. Like, we're eating off of it. It becomes easy to see. Look, it didn't close right. This is what I call the tip game. Okay, that's what I'm trying to think of the word I was looking for. This is a tip close underneath that 675. It closed at 40 at 674.75. This is not a good break. It wicked down, little bit of a break, popped right back in. Right. This is why when I say I don't play the tip game, I don't play the tip game. That's an example of that. Right back into that previous zone. Right. And again, I don't draw these boxes. I see them already. Right. Because I've been doing this so long. For me, I can already just spot these little zones. But if you guys want that visual, right, it's okay to draw them out and see them. You can see those areas of contention. The wider they are, the more up. Well, the wider they. I have to be careful with my hand gestures on this camera. The wider they are, the more room it has to scalp through. Big Purple came in. So then if this closes, right, now this is your next area. of contention. It needs to break over 685 if it wants to get back to 694, right? And then so on and so forth. You got that purple candle right there, right? We got this purple candle right here, right? Let's look at what blue candles we have. We only have that guy. We have the previous range break that has been holding, right? That blue candle. And below that, there's room. Below that, there's room. Unless I have something on the 5-minute. Nope. I don't get anything on the 5-minute. The next 2 minutes all the way down there. So you can see how it's building these little barriers. The level, it's trying to break down there, but if it doesn't, right, this is also trying to curl up. If it does, breaks that purple candle, then you're going to see a test of that level again. Let's see if we see it. Let's try to curl up here. 2-minute action lines are kind of funky looking right now. The 5-minute is pretty spread out as well. SPX, let's see if we see a failed bullish move on SPX here. Right, SPX did the exact same thing, y'all. If you don't see it, right, stack level, pull down. Exact same thing that NQ did. But SPX did hold its stack level. Its stack level did not break. All right, here we go. SPX A++ setup. It's reacting pretty good. Let's see if we see the break here. This is too big of a candle for me to play. This will be about a 12-point stop loss if it holds above. This candle would be your guiding candle for your stop loss. It's too big. I don't like it. I wouldn't play it. And then obviously from the room you would have from here to 694. It's not something I would personally try to take. But here we go. Let's see. All right, this is forming a signal. That's a very failed bullish move if it closes down there. 3, 2, 1, and just a tippy tip break. Again, don't play the tip game. Now you would have levels. Now you have levels, right? Now you could actually bring this up, and it's getting even tighter. So you guys seeing how tight this looks, right? You have that level down here. If you draw more lines, you have this down here. This is what I'm talking about. This is ugly, right? This is ugly. I'll sit on my hands here, right? This is getting too tight. Now the 85 to 75, it's 10 points still, but it's tight. It's too tight. You have all these levels around here. You got level up here, level right here. You got these areas that are holding. That little bottom area has more room, but this is funky to me and ugly. I don't like it. All right, too many lines. That's your tell. I don't like this. Let me just sit and wait. All right, still failed bullish move on SPX right now. So this looks like it might give. It might give. The DARM is starting to react here. Here's another. This was a tippy tip break still. A little bit better than the previous break. So you want to see if this holds. That stop loss is wide again. But if this goes, this has room to go down. And looks like it's going, right? Again, I'm not going to catch every single trade. I don't care about catching every single trade. I collected well over 50 points already in less than 30 minutes. I'm happy with that. Be happy with that. All right? If you guys want to have fun, be degens, load up another account. But don't give back what you made on an account that you just like collected what most people wait 30, 40, 50, like no more than that. They wait like an hour for a move like that. Ooh, there you go, Seeking. It's the sitting and waiting. Exactly, Sergio. And that's why you have to be able to distract yourself. That's the part, right? We do get what's it called? We get taken over when we get bored, right? The board trading. That's where you give back your green because you start clicking and clicking, just anticipating instead of waiting for confirmation. That's where we get killed, right? You're not going to catch a trade every single minute, every single second of the market. You have to wait for your setups. If you don't wait for your setups, you're just asking to get demolished. That's the reality. You have to wait. That's why rules are so important. That's why discipline is so important. That's why you're going to hear most traders tell you that the catch to this whole thing is discipline, rules. Because if you don't have rules, you're just going to mess everything up and you're going to just give back everything you make and you're going to put yourself into the psychological downfall where you're thinking everything is against you and blah, blah, blah. But in reality, it's you. You are against yourself because you're not patient. You're not waiting and you're getting bored and you're trading bored there. Holy crap. Wow. What was that? 1 o'clock on the dot. 1 o'clock on the dot. Another level formed at 675. This almost broke through 60. Below 60, it's got plenty of room. But what a wake up. Okay, my chart just refreshed. Don't know why. That was weird. All right, some of that red getting bought up. If it breaks over 75, but if it holds 75, this is going to come down some more. And then again, you want it to break underneath this, right? That's a tippy tip break, not a clean break. That was an immediate violent move. If it breaks over 75, we're going to get another push back up to that 85. If it holds underneath it, it might test this whole box. This might be our new range right down here. 2 minute, 5, SP. What happened to my SPX? Like everything reloaded out of nowhere. That was weird. All right, there we go. SPX bounced right off of a level. Look, I see this is where the confluences are so freaking clean, right? Look where SPX bounced, right? Had a level right there, right? That candle that we drew, that previous range break, or that candle, this was the candle right here, actually, right? It's not a level per se. You could treat it as a level, but look how it lined up with the SPX level, like to the T. So it's what gives these candles that strength, that power. All right, if this holds over 70, this closes over 70, this is going to break through that 75. It's got 10 seconds. That level formation is going to give it the power to break through. And then you might see that test up into that 85 area. So let's see if this closes above. Nope. It closed right at it. Tippy tip candle break. It closed right on it. So again, that's not a good close. Don't like that. That's how you're cautious. We're gonna work on this too, making like some sort of logic where the tippy tip candles do not break it like that, because this level should still be there. That level should still be there. And immediately got rejected, and the volume is picking up. SPX formed an A++ setup though, but if it failed bullish move, right? We already had one failed bullish move, and again, right? Look at SPX, right? Look at SPX. Here, I'm gonna zone in on SPX while NQ is doing its thing, right? What did SPX? Where did SPX just reject that buy? Right? That previous failed bullish move failed again. Just like what we see on NQ when you see that failed bearish move. You see the exact same thing going the opposite way. Here's another potential A++ setup here. This one's much riskier, 13-ish, 15-ish points. Much riskier. I would like to see if it retests 70, then that will reduce it by half. If it does, but it's still in a rangy spot, everything's still kind of pointing south to me. Okay, there it is, and you want to see it close below 70. Let's see if it stays below 70. If it pops up, then this is going to be a potential range spot still, right? Still inside this area. Let's see what it does here. Ooh, it's just pushing the whole thing. It's got 10 seconds left. You don't want it to break over 76. Nope. Looks like it wants to. Yep, okay. Confirmed range. There's our confirmed range. Back-to-back signals. This is why you wait for candle closure. Confirmed range. And now let's see if we see a failed bullish move, bearish move here. This has to close above. And again, oh, it's just going. Sometimes there's no opportunity. That's okay. It's just going. Again, that's how I eyeball risk, right? This was risky because of where it was. Waited for the candle closure. Did not close. Confirmed range. Now testing the older range. And I got no entry on this one. None. None. If it does break and retest, there's potential, but I don't like this range all over the place. Another blue. SPX pushing back up. Honestly, this right here, this is all funky and ugly. This is where you would give back money. This is where we would try to catch another move and we would be giving back money here. So I'm kind of going to be sitting on my hands. It's just, this just looks ugly. There's more room down than up. You see how everything's kind of stacking up here, but there is a chance for, it contested this part. It could retest and contest it again. If it breaks, then you have this next little part. But it's, the Dom's all over the place right now. Like the Dom's nuts right now. For me, the Dom, every time it hits an area, it's going crazy. All right. Benefit of having TP set, they all smash on that way. Yeah, there you go. Exactly, Sanji. That's what's good about, like, ATMs is awesome. Like, people use them, right? If, like, I'm fast, I can easily go, oh shit, my trade's up. I'm going to start trailing immediately. But I've been doing this for so long on my phone. Like, for me, it's like everything kind of moves slowly now. I have learned to protect my trades now. Sometimes it wicks me out, but I'd rather be safe. Yes, that's the right mentality to have, seeking profits. I'm in a glass case of emotions. All right, let me pull up a little bit. Every time I'm not patient, I pay the price. This is my work computer making money while I make exact. There you go. We are very close to the short, but we need to confirm the movement and candle to close. Exactly, Skate. Oh my god, I just smoked that move on paper. Let's go. Look at this go. Look at it go. Wow. That failed. Oh shit! It did give us the failed. Here it is. Right. Dang, I missed it. I missed it. But whatever. You know what? No. See, that's the point. I say it like that, but we should not be saying shit like that. There was the failed bearish move with the retest for, actually, let's see what the risk would have been on this. 675. 5 points. 5-point risk, or the level would have been about 6-point risk right here. On that break, failed bearish move for that push up. Again, that's what you find, a lot of these low risk entries. We found a bunch of them already. There was another one that presented itself. But again, right, this is still choppy and ugly. Look at this. Like, the Dom is going nuts. Like, it's been the same speed for the last 10 minutes. Ever since 1 o'clock, the Dom's been going nuts on me. So pickup in volume came in violent. There's a let's see, let me zoom in on the 2-minute. It's slightly below, so not a clean A++, but there's your second trigger. Let's see if we get the third trigger on the 5. The 5 is lining up for a potential push. Let's see if we get this explosion. Let's see if we get the jackpot, the buy. Let's see if we get it. SPX needs to break these levels here, and then you need to keep ripping through, right? Here's another failed bullish move that just occurred on this candle. There's your break. The retest would have wicked out, but there's a continuation. Right, if you played the continuation, you'd be okay. There's the level test right here now. I'm going to delete this guy. Breaks through 94. SPX is trying to break through these levels here. Let's see if I want to see if this 5-minute triggers. It looks like it might, but I have no entry right now, and I don't care if I did. But dang, there it goes. There it goes. I want to see if we're going to get the ding, ding, ding. We're going to get the jackpot here. Breaks through that, then needs to break through 700, and then again, we got 715. Right, this is where we could redraw that line up top. 715 up here, 714.50, 707, 700. This is where it gets tight, right up here. Broke that level, now needs to contest 700. Breaks through that, then these little spots right there. So a little bit of a pause there, looks like. The 5-minute needs to close. It's got 48 seconds. Sometimes I see this. You want to see this 5-minute close well above 695. If you really want to see that line continue to pull up, it might try to pull all the way back last. I've seen this happen a couple times on the last 5 minutes, with that 5 minutes about to close. If that potential level's not going to be strong, it'll pull back hard. But let's see. If it continues to go, this might be where it explodes. All right, there's the 700 contention. There it is. There's 700. Right, goes from one point to another. There it is. There's 700 ripping. It's ripping. Did any of you DJs catch that? I didn't. Well, I know there's some of you DJs in here that probably did. Which I haven't learned I learned to protect my trade now. That's good. Would it make sense to buy in a place at 5 minutes level at 637? All the way down here? I would wait. Do net. I don't. This some seeking profits. A lot of people ask me that question. I do not like to put in orders at levels like that because depending on the violence of a move, it could wick you really hard through it. So I like to see the wick through, and then I want to see it pull back up, and I want to see the lines, right? The action lines that create our levels. I want to see those levels potentially start forming by the pulling the action lines up. So I want to see it wick down below that level, then push back up and close, and then the lines catching up. So that gives me a better potential play. But never like I never like to have like orders right on a level because earlier we got to kind of see earlier there was a lot of levels that got broken through because you could see the violence of that pull down and the lines never got to catch up. There were a couple bounces here and there, but they were small. And then and of course the zoom in. There we go. And of course, you have the weak bounce that leads to the continuation break. And then you have to wait for those lines to catch up. So it looks like right now, this is our standstill point, 700 again. Did we hit 702? We hit 702. Remember 702, guys? 702 was right up here. 702 was right there, right? That's where it reversed. Now it's going to test the previous broken range right here at 685, potentially. Sucks I have work during this, but I've only caught one trade for 12 bucks. Hey, you caught something, bro. It's okay, right? A lot of this challenge is education, right? It's not financial advice by any sort. A lot of this is education, trusting in the process, being able to make the reads, understanding what I'm seeing. That's the whole point of this whole thing, right? I'm actively getting into trades and seeing if you guys are catching them the same way. I'm reading the same way. I want you guys to see the stops before I see them. Like that's the whole point of this, right? A challenge. The challenges that we're doing aren't necessarily, a whole thing just to like, oh yeah, let's do this challenge just because we want to do it. No, it's educational. The whole purpose of this thing is to have confidence in the setups, experience the L's, right? Go through the trial and tribulations so that you can move on and grow. Trusting the system. That's the whole thing. Javi had a blue there and didn't same NQ chart. Did you try refreshing it, Nick? That's weird. Because you had the buy signal, your blue came up after. Oh, that's weird. Sometimes it depends. If you're on the app, there's a refresh rate thing. It's very funky how it happens. There's a lot of the candles formation also require there's timing that is involved in their formation. So if your refresh rate is off a little bit, that's where there's going to be slight differences, and it's annoying because we're really like, I'll give you guys a little bit of like the wealth charts thing. They have all the other indicators up in there already except for quantum. They need a second hand with quantum because quantum is heavy. There's a lot of logic, a lot of like real like algorithms and things in here that trigger all these movements. So it's not like your basic run of the mill thing. Like every single thing has a specific purpose. There's specific things that have to happen. So if like trading view is off by like a millisecond or something, it could trigger it off. Like probably not a millisecond, but it's a refresh rate thing. Unfortunately, if it's between the app and the dash, the web page, it's yeah. We try to fix it. Like me and Owen, it's more Owen than me because I'm an idiot when it comes to script writing. I mean, he's done a really good job at it, but there's also that slight difference between MNQ and NQ because the same thing, right? There's volume differences in the two, and then there's also slight timing differences in the two. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Alaska, for posting that. I did 2 blue candles. I enter. If you saw 2 and you entered, I mean, it's kind of, yeah, like one bullish push to another bullish push. All right, the 5 minute, right? Oh, look, the 5 minute tested all the way back to where that level was going to form. 687. This is what I'm saying. This has to start pulling up, right? The level did not form just yet. So the exact same thing that we saw when the level formed up here at 682 and we saw that move, right? When this level closes, if it closes, right? We want to see this hold above 695, 690. There goes. I want to see the reaction. We didn't get a reaction right there. It closed. Let's see if this continues to go here. This has to hold. I don't want to see this get contested immediately either, but we did see it previously. But if this holds and it doesn't get touched, there's a good chance this is going to be a potentially strong level. So let's see if it rips through this 702, 700 area, pushes up to 707. And if it rips 707, we're going to see 714. Rips through 714, we got a lot of room up. We got a lot of room up. Let me look at the 714. Yep, 714. Don't have anything there. On the 5 minute, we have 725 on the 5 minute. So we do have a purple on the 5 minute over here at 725. So we would have this little area past 725, then we have room back up to 50. So right now, the push isn't looking super strong, but this candle just formed. You want it, there it goes. There's a rip over 700. All right, now let's see it hold 700, and then you want to see it push back up to 707. All right, only 85 for me, but it's green. Alaskan green is green, brother. C Lobos, first time using Quantum, so I paper traded, and I see how simple it can. There you go, C Lobos. Love it, brother. The zooms, but yeah, no, dude. Just, every time it's this. If I do this, there you go. See, and then I do that. Is that little tiny movement? So I can't be like I can't say like the little right. The motion of just saying a little bit, it does that. It's freaking hilarious. Trust the system, exactly, David. Trust the system. I tapped in. Is the P2P algo on there too? No, I don't have. So Passion Pursuer, I do love using Llama's fibs, right? When it's not. This is just quantum. This is just we're doing the quantum challenge. I don't have any other indicators on here at all. I don't even have my sauce boxes up. We're playing pure quantum, but I do like to use the P2P indicator because I use Llama sauce as added confluence with like sauce box and levels. So they pair beautifully. There have been a bunch of signals already where quantum and his lineup, I'm immediately hitting buy. I either start off light and I wait for the pullback, or I'll wait for the pullback and then I'll go in heavy. But stop losses stay the same. But I won't go super heavy. All right, there we go. Okay, look at this. They're held 700. There's your contention to 707. And I hope you guys really start seeing what I'm seeing, because there goes. Break 707, right? The next spot, 714. Let's see if this goes. You're going to see how far it can go, right? It needs to stay above 707, so it's not going to just pop up immediately. You want to see it close, then you want to see it hold, then you want to see it push. All right, 5 minute held, 5 minute 3Z there too. SPX is challenging the bottom side of orb. There's the close. Now you want to see it test and hold above. If it breaks back in, it could come back down to test 700. But let's see if this has the strength it needs to keep pushing to that 714 area. Right? We didn't get the trifecta. We didn't get the buy. Unfortunately, it did not give it to us on the 5. So the move, could have been better if it was, but it still gave us something. Right? It wasn't as strong as I would have liked, but it still moved. So if this continues to hold over here, right, you want to see this hold here, and it's setting up for potential 3Z continuation. You saw 3Z here. We could see another 3Z there. There it goes. Really close. It's only off by a couple points. There it is, 714. Boom, right? Are you guys seeing this now? Are you guys piecing it together? Like, and then next, right, hold 714, right? We have that 5 minute candle up at 726. Now you want to see the same thing. You want to see it hold, and then you want to see it continue to push. And this is where I let my runners, right? This is how I collect on my runners. If it breaks back down, it's going to retest that 707 area, and so on and so forth. Back and forth. It just does the same pattern over and over and over again. This is how I eat on the chop. This is how I eat in price action that people don't like, right? The power of quantum. Like, this is the point of these sessions that I want to do. I want to enlighten everybody, because it's so freaking awesome to see and to be able to like read the future so consistently. It's so freaking cool. All right. If it can't hold 714, it's got to test down here again. This candle has about 10 seconds left, but it's also setting up for another 3Z. So this is where we would use a little bit of candlestick analysis too. All right, just tapped in. So yeah, Passion Pursuer. So The P2P, I don't have it on. Ooh, closed right above. Look at that. Push right above. Now this needs to hold. It needs to push up. Can you sync trade on wealth charts? I believe you can. Ooh, failing. It's failing. It broke back in. So it's going to contest. It's going to retest this area, but the 5 minute still looking pretty bullish. I didn't get a blue candle there either using the web page. Huh. Okay, that's interesting then. I bet you if I refresh, it will delete it. It might be my side then. Well, there it goes. It's pushing. It's trying to get there. It's getting really wicky up here. Did not close below, so still valid for a push back up. Yeah, took an L on that because I played an advanced play and took a sell as it was testing that purple and wouldn't have if I knew it was a blue candle. Sucks. Okay, that's funky. I'm gonna look into that, guys. Yeah, because that's weird. But the following candle I think did turn blue for everyone. The second one. Because that should have turned blue for everybody. If it turned blue for me, it should have turned blue for everybody. If we're all using the web page. So we're gonna look into that for sure. 200 on the personal account. Let's go, Pesh. But again, with the advanced reads, right, you also want to wait for the closure, especially when it's testing that far up. I'm out of that push. Let's go, Alaskan. I refreshed the page and got it. You refreshed and you got it? That's okay. See, that's the refresh thing. Unfortunately, that's the thing. It's the refresh rate varies with internet. So yeah, if you refresh it, you should get it. So it's just one of those things that's it's TV. It's something that it's out of our hands, unfortunately. You got both blues too? Yeah. See, yeah. It's sometimes if you gotta refresh it every once in a while, and that's unfortunately, like I said, a TV thing. Like the internet we have here is way better than the internet I had in Hagerstown. And I'll tell you, I missed a couple signals in Hagerstown because our internet sucked ass over there. And then I would refresh and I'd be like, damn, I wish I saw that one there. Yeah. It's annoying, TJR. I get it. Like I know. It's just one of those damn annoying things that TV I wish they would hire Owen to go fix all their shit. Like I've told them this before. Like he needs to go over there and knock some sense into them. Like fix the little bit of lag and everything. I'm gonna be done for this Friday. May check out Power Hour, but I'm green. Feeling good. Yeah, go into the weekend feeling good, Alaskan. Go into the weekend feeling good. Right now, it's ranging, right? It's ranging. No quantum candles at the moment. So we had a previous little range. Now we're in our new little range, stuck in between here. Want to see it push up and test that 25. Oh, okay, here we go. This is why this is ranging. SPX rejecting bottom of orb. And it's setting up for potential pull down now. So if SPX is rejecting orb, let's see if NQ follows here or if this tries to contest it. 2 minute is also pulling down. So again, you're going to have that little stepping stone of if it breaks through here, it's going to come down here, and so on and so forth. So let's see if SPX is going to hold. All right, that's looking good. NQ showing relative strength. NQ is showing some strength. So this is looking good for that contention up to 25. Holy crap, Vigilante. There you go. Look at that. With one micro, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just made $300 with one micro, dude. Where else can you do that shit? Let's fucking go, bro. That's what I'm talking about. That's great, man. I would hesitate to enter from that close to a curl or cross. Yeah, Trina. Exactly. I'm the same way. Oh, there's 725. Boom. There it is. There it is. There's 725. All right. Look at the wicks, right? Look at the rejection, right? 725. Look at that. Pinpoint accuracy. Like where else do you see this stuff, guys? Like where else? Consistently over and over and over again. And it's on a Llama Fib too. See? That's cool. That's cool as hell. Like I love that stuff, TJR. Like I love that stuff. Like I don't have it on there, but it's cool when I do have it on and I see it too. I see it all the time because I usually use his fibs. But when I see it and I see my stuff and I'm just like, this is so cool, man. It's like I'm a nerd with the charts. Like I love reading this stuff. It's so freaking fun for me. Now for break 725, we know what's gonna potentially happen. I wonder if we're gonna get an explosion pop. because you know you get these out of nowhere candles. There goes. Let's see if it closes, and then you see a pop, or if it's just going to stall out again. The 725 is off of the 5 minute, right here. This 5 minute purple candle right here. That's why I gauge each time frame, the 1, the 2, and the 5. That's 725, 75 right there. You see the 5 minute chart? So I was looking if I had any more bearish candles anywhere. That's where that 725. Around the 1 minute, it's not there. It's just that candle. But on the 5 minute, oops, on SPX. SPX is breaking back inside of orb too. SPX breaking back inside of orb. That's telling. All the confluence is lining up for a push. Here we go. That's 725 right there. This has to hold over 725, and let's see if we get a violent reaction here. If this candle closes above it. Closed above it. No violent reaction. Not yet, at least. SPX looking stronger than NQ right now. So NQ showing some weakness. But let's see. The DARM is reacting a little bit. And you can see the progression from one to the other, to the other, to the other. Simple. Like easy to pinpoint these candles, easy to use them as a guide, and then you just ride the wave. Ride the wave. And now let's see if this 5 minute can hold above. The 5 minute candle has to be broken by a 5 minute candle. So make sure we are clear on that as well. Right? I'm looking at the 1 minute to see what it's doing as well. Pulling back down hard, but the 1 minute candle does not give strength against the 5 minute candle. So that was a hard pull down. Rejecting that 25, could not hold above. Right, there's that line right there. This is a 5 minute candle, and what a violent pull down. As soon as I say things too, like the timing of when I say things and then it reacts is so cool. SPX broke back underneath. The 5 minute on NQ is still somewhat sitting bullish until it starts closing underneath the lines, right? You want the lines to catch up. So it's got quite a ways to go, right? From 718, if it closes above 718, then it needs to pull down to 703, and then to pull down even further, it needs to close below 703. So as long as it sits above, it's still sitting in a pretty bullish stance. Doesn't mean it can't pull down a good amount. It could pull down to retest the 700, which is the top of the broken range of the trend. Trend. All right, let's see what happens here. 2 minute is trying to curl down as well. We didn't get any sort of trigger on the one, but this would have been if there was a level here, this would have been a pure level play. If we use that 725 as a level, we could have used that as well as the curling action and everything on that 725. Would have been good for a 10-point drop, but I don't play those like that all the time. So I want to see what this does here. I want to see if this is gonna show some push on the 5 minute, because again, the 5 minute is still sitting bullish. So I want to see if it'll re-break that 725. Maestro, I don't see where they are. So I hope that cleared it up for you, Alaskan. Moved my stop to 700. That's psych level. That's good. If you're riding this Vigilante, that's a good area to put a stop if you're gonna ride this up. Done for the day. Red. Lost an account yesterday from over trading, and now my ordered a PA 3 days ago. I thought I clicked. Apparently not. It's on me. It's all right, Nick Riv, man. You know, don't take one bad day as, you know, the end all be all, or even a couple bad days. You know, it happens, dude. Like we have to come in and we have to be open minded, and then we have to understand, right? You have to understand the entries, you have to understand the stop losses. I hope that, you know, and again, I'm going to upload this on YouTube, so you'll be able to go back and rewatch this where we were seeing everything, where the low risk entry points were when I was going over the range and obviously the A++ setups, and then being patient. But you had that issue. I believe you had that issue where that candle didn't show up, so you didn't get to see the range there as well. But don't take those things as like, don't take it personally. Don't take it like, okay, this that's a sign for me to just give up, because everything's a lesson. You should be taking every loss as a lesson. That's the only way I grew. That's what helped me from quitting in the end, from stopping, was when I finally decided to take every loss as a lesson instead of taking every loss as this personal vendetta that the market had against me, because that's not what it is. It was all about me learning what I was doing when I was losing, and it started piecing together. And it takes time, right? You're not going to learn it as fast as some. Some might take more time. That's just a part of it. I have dyslexia. I have ADHD. I had to rewatch Max's First Class like 6 times before the first class stuck in my head. So, I know I didn't learn it as fast as others, but once I started really kind of getting it, right, I took off. So it takes time. I've had dumb mistakes like that happen, but we have to go through them. Exactly, Passion. We have to go through and learn. Yeah, see, Molly's mom, same, and I'm still watching it over and over. Exactly. Like it's just that's just a part of it. So I was always that way in school too. Like I always fell behind. All right, see, this is where I was talking about. Like, right, well, yeah, yeah. Okay, I was saying that the 5 minute was still sitting bullish, right? That's that pull up. But again, right, what do we want to see? We want to see it break back over 725. Until then, this could be the standstill point. SPX trying to break back inside of its orb, and then it has a level it needs to break through. I learned by trial by fire. I learned by trial by fire too. I blew a ton of accounts before I became consistent and profitable. That turnaround point was when I slowed down. I started sizing down, and I stayed consistent with sizing down. Obviously, like this year, I've kind of gone off a little heavy, but right, I went back and I bought some 25 and 50Ks because I'm finding myself being way too aggressive. Like I showed you those yesterday. I had 2 accounts that I popped because I was only up like 500 on them. And this is the problem with sizing up. I was up. Did you hear what I just said? I was up only 500. Guess what? On my 50K accounts, that would have been a hell of a day. I would have been so happy with that. Anything over 300. But because these are 150s and 100Ks, I found myself saying I'm only up 500. And you have to catch that. That's me. Like, I have to catch myself doing that. And I'm like, what am I doing again? Why is 500 a bad day? It should not be a bad day. But that's the problem with larger accounts, is that you get into this realm in your head where, because you have to hit a high target, low numbers look bad, and they're not. So again, right, you're gonna go over these little demons and battles all the freaking time. I caught myself doing that the last few days. And I told my wife, you know what? I'm going to buy some 50K accounts to get my mentality off of that again. Because yes, this year, do I want to size up? Yes. Have I been doing well so far? Yes. But I don't want to get enthralled in a $500 day being a bad day, because that's not where I want my mentality to be. My bread and butter number was 250 for like 8 months. And I lived off of that for 8 freaking months. So, you got to be able to adjust your psyche as you catch yourself having these thoughts. Javi, I think a pullback going to happen with my levels and Javi Quantum. I mean, there was a little bit of a pullback, but there's that, right? The bullish stance on the 5 minute. Did everyone kind of track what I saw there? What I saw the 5 minute, right? Sitting on top. Not the lines were far apart, potentially testing the uptrend shift. Still close to 725. SPX breaking back inside of orb. SPX also ripped through that level. Right? I'm 1.5 years into trading, no payouts, 11 PAs with IPX, and can't get a payout. You have to slow down, Nick. Slow down, man. You have 11 PAs. How many have you blown? How many other accounts have you blown? Right? The thing for me, right? When I started trading futures in July, I got my first payout in October. Between July and September, I was racing to it. I was playing with minis. And then the payout started flowing when I sized the hell down and I started looking for consistent risks, right? Which is why I posted in the challenge, right? What am I looking for? If I'm on the higher side of risk, right, 10 to 15 points, I'm sizing the hell down. If I'm on the lower side of risk, I'm gonna go in almost full size. But I leave room to add, right? I leave room to add to full size, but my risk always stays the same. The stop loss always stays the same. So you have to look for that consistent base, right? I put in there, right? That's normally something I don't share with everybody, like the details, because that was something I kind of kept for students and stuff. But I was like, if we're gonna do this challenge, I'm gonna show the details of what I size, and that's how I size. I size depending on risk. The risk is greater, I size down. The risk is lower, I size up. But I'm consistent with it, right? I'm not gonna go in and play 5 micros on the 10, 15 point risk. I'm gonna size down to about 3 or 4. You can still do damage, right? If it's on the lower side of 5 points, then I'm going to size to usually full size 5 or 6, and I keep that on repeat. That's the way the wins and the losses have to kind of fluctuate a little bit, but you don't want the losses to outweigh the wins, and that tends to happen when you fluctuate your sizing, when you're sizing heavy on higher risks, and then you get scared, so you start sizing lower on the lower risks because you got scared when you were sizing big on the higher risks. And it's important to keep that repetition, keep flowing, keep doing the same thing, and trusting the process. You're going to lose trades. That's a part of the process. We all lose trades. I lose trades. I'm not perfect. All right. My win rate is like 70, 80%. It's not 100%. Anyone that claims to have a win rate at 100% is lying, and you better turn around and run because they're just trying to take your money. Yep, I'm gonna break right. Yep, I'm gonna break right now. But when I come back, 3-5 micros only, and now it's easier for me to trust the process exactly. And that's where that emotional relief comes into play. Like when you can just let the play, and if it loses, it's okay, right? I don't have to worry about my account going anywhere because I'm gonna be perfectly fine. Keep it going. Take a day or two off. Trust it. Yeah. Maestro, can you explain your stop losses? Do you use the top or the bottom of the range break boxes? For the quantum range T and J, I use the breaking candle. Okay, so let's go over this. All right. So, like an example of this blue that ended up breaking, right? The bullish candle that ended up breaking. So this candle right here broke through that bearish candle, right? This is your kind of little range. Your blue and your purple back to back. Obviously, it formed an A plus plus on both sides. It held this bottom at 660. Then here, right, this breaking candle, this would be my stop loss candle, right? On this particular setup, you have also a level. So it kind of gives you a little extra confluence for the potential push, right? You see the break, you see the retest, your entry will be around 75, 76. Your stop loss will be below 70 or below 69. That's where you get the option to choose. I feel a lot more confident in this kind of setup. And then obviously you saw the push, you saw a new break, right? And I would treat this the same way. I would have the break, and then I would look for the retest. Obviously, the retest pulled down, closed above. I would enter on that closure. Then I would use my stop loss as the bottom of this candle. All right. If I entered on the retest and I got stopped out on the initial, I would re-enter on the closure and save stop loss, and then I would look for that move. And I play this on and on over and over. Right. Here's another example. But again, this is one that I didn't like. Right. It did play out to that bottom 660, but then break of a bullish candle, then you have your retest. Your stop loss would have been all the way up here, and then you had that move down. But this is on repeat over and over and over again. You can go back and you can test it, and you can see how well that works, how low risks, how low those potential risk entries are, right? When you see this happen over and over and over again, right? Again, you're going to experience a couple hiccups here and there. Again, big breaks, I don't play, right? Big break, came back in, retested once, then broke back in, came up. And then here's another one, right? Here's your break. Here's your retest. You would use this candle as your stop loss. Stop loss will be above 707. You had a couple really nice entry points potentially, right? Retested a couple times. Then there's your A++ sell off. Boom, boom. Gave you another retest and then another pushback. But you start seeing this over and over and over again. There are days where you can eat off nothing but quantum ranges. There are days where the quantum ranges aren't going to be everywhere, where it's just going to be a lot of A++ setups, right? Be cautious of the big candles. There's always little rules, but you'll start seeing this over and over and over again. There's the break, there's the retest, right? Entry around 12, stop loss on this one around 701. There's your move. Same thing up here, right? When it happened up here, you see the same exact thing. This is the break. Didn't give you a full-blown retest. It ended up just leaving. Would I have caught this? Probably not. But that's how you play these. The quantum range breaks are fun as hell for me on days where it's just choppy because they're everywhere and you can scalp points here and there. Okay, hopefully that helped. Look at you, Kathy. Of course, Kathy eating. Okay, awesome, Nick Riv. I'm glad that refreshing it showed it up. It happens. 10 pros I've popped in 2 months, but I've learned a lot and I'm going to come back better. Trust the process. There you go. There you go, Passion Pursuer. Exactly. I have I don't even know how many pros I have popped because again, right? My first pro I ever got, I popped it the same day because I broke all my rules thinking, okay, I passed the account in like 7 days. And then when I finally got the pro, I'm like, ooh, let me see if I could get to the buffer. And I popped that thing that same day. I was like, okay, I'm never doing that again. But I've still popped pros, even sometimes when I follow my rules, or even when I'm just going degen. I go degen sometimes, and I'll pop pros here and there, right? I also, hopefully this doesn't hurt me when I post it on YouTube, right? I've been avoiding going live with TPT, because I don't want to go pro yet. I've gone live with 3 other props. The nice thing about TPT Pro is that they do allow you to have 5, but every single other prop they only let you have 1, and then you got to build to the next one. I'm kind of like I'm too impatient for that. If you can post, we can help you see why you popped them. Yep, exactly. I am Oakland. Like always, guys. I will say this. I think I will try to say this almost every time we have a session. Do not be embarrassed by your losses. Do not. It is a part of the process. Every single one of us loses, right? Nobody is 100%. Everyone takes an L. The only way you are going to grow is to get over them, but also learn from them. Post those losses in the chat. We have helped break down almost everybody who posts a loss in the chat. We are so active in there. I am active in there. Sam is active. Kathy is active, and Kathy is one that has taken quantum into her hands and has been dominating with it. We all will go in there and we will read something, and if we miss it, tag us and we'll try to get to you, right? I try to do my best to always kind of take a peek, but then there's times where, family times and things like that, where it might take a day or might take me a few hours to get to it, right? I know sometimes I get tagged while I'm sleeping, and then I wake up and I'm like, "Oh, you're not answering." I'm like, I'm asleep. I'm not a robot, but we still go in there and we're very active in the chats. Yeah, but just see past 10 and then in one day you failed the exact. There you go, Vigilante. I finally passed an Apex, but in my head about the rules, I overtraded my 6th day and popped, then beat myself up. Yeah, and that's, again, right? You have to be able to move on from that, Molly, right? If we follow our rules, if we follow our rules to the T, we won't pop it in one day. But again, we all have degen days. There's days where I'm pissed off at the world, right? Like things are going my way, and I take it out on the account. I try not to take it out on the funded, but sometimes I'll be like, screw this one, and then I'll just go in and YOLO it and see. I'm either going to come out or I'm not, and I'm just going to end up being more pissed, which ends up happening because when you trade emotionally, you're not waiting for a setup. You're just going, screw this, I'm going to click, and then you click, and then you just see, and then you're like, damn, I shouldn't have done that, and then you just get more pissed off than you already were. That's my next thing. Take pics of my losses. I get too mad and forget. Yeah, exactly. See that exactly, Passion. Like that's what happened to me before. Like I would blow an account. Like I would get to a funded state. I used to pass evals left and right, way back because I was playing minis. Then I would get to the funded state, and then I would blow them left and right. And I ignored every single time I lost. I never took screenshots up until I started getting into my rules, When I started building into my rules, like actually like a couple weeks before then, I was kind of taking some screenshots, but I wasn't so into them until after I blew that one account, that big payout account that I blew. That's where I was like, this play didn't work. Let me break it down. Let me see why. What mistakes was I making? What did I miss? And then things started just stacking and adding up. And then I was looking for different situations that I wasn't looking at before. Like before, I was playing Quantum the Quantum way. I was playing just the retracements, right? The retracements of the purple candles, that secret menu item sauce that I've told you guys about with Quantum, right? I played the retracements of untraced candles. Looks like today there wasn't many. Today there was just this one right here, right? I would look for something like this and then play the retracement. This one got retraced immediately, immediately. That one got retraced enough for me not to play it. Like today, they've just been retraced. Like there have not been many today. But that's how I used to play this, right? There was that one right here, and then there was that's it. Yeah, there was only one or two today. That's it. So the retracement play today wouldn't have been good. There was one here at 10:39 last night, and that's it. A little one here, a little tiny one here. Yeah. So even the retracement play, it looks like there was a big one here at 3 o'clock. They got left last night at three right before power hour closed, and it got retraced at 7:46. Right. So these setups, right, they do present themselves, but again, they're risky as hell because sometimes it will just drop and drop and drop and drop, and then it will retrace eventually. But you already popped two or three accounts, and that wasn't the way to do it because I wasn't looking at the overall picture, and I learned from that. All right, I will pull up with back testing seconds. There you go, Kathy. Thank you, Kathy. After that, I groomed a black cat and it attacked me. you groomed the black cat and the black cat. So you blew an account. The black cat attacked you. That's a horrible day, Molly's mom. Oh man, don't take it out on your account. Take it out on your meat instead. Oh man, no, I don't think I want to take it out on my meat because that would be painful for me. Like when I'm angry, I'm not gentle. Like that's why I call myself gorilla. Like I'm a gentle giant, but when someone pisses me off, like really pisses me off, like yeah, I turn into a gorilla basically. So that's why like my nickname was the gorilla. All right, y'all. I'm gonna take a little bit of a breather before power hour. Great day. I really hope everyone learned something. Right? We caught some really nice ass plays here. I didn't think we were gonna get this kind of action during lunch, so I was kind of shocked. So will we do these again during lunch, man? I might come in excited again because I normally don't trade during lunch. But thank you guys. Thank you very much for joining us. I really hope everyone learned something. I will put this video up hopefully sometime later tomorrow, maybe later tonight. I don't know. We'll see. But I guess I'll add in please like and subscribe, tickle the bells, all that fun stuff. And I'll see you guys in a few minutes for Power Hour, and then I'll see you guys hopefully next week sometime during lunch again. All right, for day number 4. So peace out, everyone. Have a wonderful day. If you're green, do not trade that account for Power Hour. Power Hour, I'm gonna have a little bit of fun, but not too much fun. I still want to, still want to trade seriously. So, bye bye.